Kenya Red Cross is part of many members of the International Federation of the Red Cross. The society creates awareness to Kenyans on issues that might affect them. Kenya Red Cross has a list of projects it either runs or supports, among them being famine, food services, first aid services, and disaster management. Most of its agency's workers happen at night, including response to distress calls. Our night reporter Brian Obuya spent some time with the Red Cross workers and filed the following story on how the crew carries out its duties.
You have probably seen them when disaster strikes. You probably have seen them make appeals for blood donations or famine. Kenya Red Cross, which is one among the many international Red Cross and Red Crescent movement societies across the globe, was founded in 1965 and currently has over 1,000 employees. It is also said to have over 90,000 volunteers. And the society has many departments, but tonight we are spending the night with the dispatch unit, which is a 24-hour department within Kenya Red Cross. Zainab Mohammed is among a number of staff at work tonight.
This is the dispatch center. Our dispatch center is centrally placed, so we have one central dispatch for the whole country of Kenya. We receive calls from different counties and different areas. We get calls from, let's say, Mandera, Turkana, as far as Busia, Kisumu, to Lamu, Mombasa, and even Nairobi. So while at dispatch, the person who's at dispatch or the dispatch is the person who receives this call.
Once the dispatcher receives a call from a client, they will filter it out. By so doing, the dispatcher is able to know the type of help required and the amount of manpower to be employed on the ground.
When we send the team, then we get back in touch with the client and we give them something known as pre-arrival medical instructions, which is basically just telling you as a person what to do as we wait for the ambulance to get there.
And then there is the use of technology, too much of it within this particular department of Kenya Red Cross, from readily available applications like WhatsApp and Twitter to in-house applications. From this zone control screen, Zainab and team are able to monitor ambulances across the country. Interestingly, the team is also able to see, among other things, the dashboard of the vehicle from wherever it is.
So if an ambulance is either has low fuel, we are actually able to call the operator of the ambulance and informing him or her that the ambulance has low fuel.
Can you probably take a look at one of the dashboards?
So let's look at this one that is, so this is currently moving along Kitale, Webuye Kitale Highway. So the dashboard, that is what is actually we're able to see. So the time, the GPS time in terms of direction, kilometers, and then the fuel. This is a Land Cruiser because we have two types of ambulances. We have the Land Cruiser and the HEAS ambulance. So the Land Cruiser has two tanks, two fuel tanks as compared to the HEAS ambulance. So we're able to see the main tank and the sub-tank. Yes.
So what about in terms of communication? Are we able to have a real-time communication with the driver of this vehicle, probably?
Yes. We mostly call them using mobile phones, yes. But in remote areas like Mandera, we use the radio system, that is the VHF radio, that actually captures a wider range, yes.
The yellow color indicates that the ambulances are on standby. In better words, the vehicle is not on move but ready for an assignment. The green indicator is for ambulances that are currently on the move.
If they're in an area that has no network coverage, so it changes to gray. Yes, so we are able to know that they're in a no network area. So the ambulance concentrations, that is in regards to the number of calls we receive in a day. So you find an area like Kakamega, we receive about 30 calls at most in a day. That is between 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. in the evening. So about 30 to 40 calls at most. So depending on the demand, that is how we've dispersed the ambulances. Hello, Jimmy. Hello, we have a call. This is at City Stadium roundabout. Yes, roundabout. Yeah, it's a hit and run. Okay, we've already told Maureen, you can proceed for that call.
Disaster is not predicted. We are going to accompany Zainab to a scene of a hit-and-run accident. But even then, over 25 other ambulances, most of them Land Cruisers at the Kenya Red Cross Logistics Center, are on standby, waiting to respond to any other of those distress calls. But before we leave, they have to notify the hospital, who will then be in wait.
Amepigia KNH. Ndo anapiga pita.
The ambulance we are aboard is recasted into this tablet. Literally, Zainab has this ambulance in her hands. And though we cannot see outside in the fast-moving ambulance, she's able to track where exactly we are and how far from the destination we are. To some extent, she's able to know how much time left considering our speed to the destination. We have just arrived at the scene of that hit-and-run accident. Traffic police officers on the ground, they are the ones who made that frantic call. Zainab and team being paramedics, they have to make sure their patient is stable before proceeding to the hospital.
Tunakupeleka hospitali. Unaishi wapi?
We are on our way to Kenyatta National Hospital. During this journey, the paramedics will try to engage their patient to know how stable the patient is. We are at the Kenyatta National Hospital. Zainab tells me that we might wait a little longer because protocol has changed here. A long process is involved in the handing over of the patient. This has been done, she tells me, to avoid those who come and dump their patients at the hospital. Being a part of the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent movements, which constitutes about 190 countries, Kenya Red Cross is bound by the 7 international principles proclaimed during the 20th conference in 1965. Among them was neutrality, where the movement shall not take sides in times of hostilities, be it political, racial, religious, or ideological. Among the 7 was also unity, whereby there can only be one Red Cross or one Red Crescent society in any one country. For the past 16 years, Mr. Bas Gulet has been the Secretary General of the Kenya Red Cross. President Uhuru Kenyatta is the patron. Brian Obuya, KTN News.